Hi, I'm Oliver, age 24.
And I'm Malford.
And this is Bossa Studios.
Today's video is about making games.
And how to get started.
Now, today's video is not specifically about game design, more about game development. Game design is one part of the development process, and we're not going to talk too much about that now, but we will in a video coming up.
So we've asked everybody in the studio, and the first piece of advice is to just get started. And nothing teaches how to make games like just making games.
In the immortal words of Shia LaBeouf, just do it. It's important to be prepared to be terrible. When you first get started, you're not going to be any good at it, but it doesn't matter because you're learning. One good place to start is with a kind of pre-packaged level editor. You can get Little Big Planet has one, Mario Maker has one, StarCraft, the World's Adrift Island Create tool, which is available on Steam now. These all have built-in tools which you can use, which can teach you enough about kind of making levels, making triggers, that kind of stuff.
Conversely, one of our developers has suggested that it might not be best to start with level editors, because then to make the jump into making full games can be quite daunting, and it might be better to just bite the bullet and start with games.
A lot of people recommend starting with Unreal or Unity, which are great, and a lot of people use them to make fully packaged games. We make most of our games with Unity here, but they can be super complicated, so it's difficult to get your teeth into them and actually start producing things. There's a much bigger barrier of entry. So something like RPG Maker or Game Maker, which are also quite widely available, may be a better place to start.
Regardless of which engine you choose to use, it's important to start small. A lot of people make the mistake of choosing their first project to be something really big, and that demotivates them from continuing to learn how to make games.
Right, try working out how to clone something simple like Pong or Space Invaders. Most of these engines have really active communities following them, so it's not hard to find good tips and tutorials which will teach you how to make most kinds of games. From
there, you'll have a better idea of what kind of games you enjoy making, and a better idea of how games work in general.
It can be quite easy when following tutorials to not actually learn anything. You might just be following the instructions and not thinking about what you're doing. That's why it's important to experiment early on. Try tweaking values or putting things in different places and see what it does.
Personally, I've found one of the hardest parts of learning how to make games is to actually just stick with a project and keep up the motivation to see it through.
It's easy to want to quit on longer projects, but it's the perseverance to finish things that sets you apart from the rest of the people trying to make games. One final piece of advice: don't drink milk when you're feeling sick.
That's one thing we can all agree on. So in conclusion, making games is really hard work.
But we think it's worth it. Making something you're proud of and seeing people enjoying it is one of the most rewarding things in the world. We've put some links in the description to some places to download some free tools and resources from, so you can get started.
We want to do more videos about game development, so if there's anything you're struggling with in particular or you'd want to learn more about, leave it in the comments below.
Well, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you subscribe for more videos. Oliver.
Yes, Malford.
How are we going to end this video?
How about a song?
Ooh.
Is a traffic jam. Is a traffic jam.